grand opening. Bang, boom, pow, bang, guest episode.
Hi guys, this is Introvert Reads. My name is Melissa. We have a special guest today. This is the editor, and the dog's playing with a toy. This is Michael. Michael watches and edits my videos for me. This is the boyfriend.
Depending on how energetic she is, this could get really loud.
It could be. So, as you guys, I hope that you guys saw my previous video for the reading rush, that I am supposed to read Uprooted because the cover is the color of my birthstone topaz. Michael's idea, since he read Uprooted before I did, that we would do a video together to discuss the book. So I do have discussion questions. There is 20 discussion questions. With another special guest, Yuna, our dog. This is from Owlcation, and it is by Amanda. I'm not going to pronounce her last name because it's weird. No offense. I'm not saying that it's weird. I'm already saying
I have a weird last name, and I'm cool with it.
There we go. Okay, so we're gonna start.
Okay.
Okay, so question 1 is, why did the people of the village fear the dragon so much despite all he'd done to protect them, especially from the wood?
From my perspective, I like to think it as, like, he was so much unknowing, and he was such a lumbering figure.
Yeah.
Like, to them, he was this omnipotent royalty person that it was just like, there's some people
Who knew a lot.
Yeah, like, he knew so much that they knew that they couldn't comprehend what he could do. They don't even, like, on the same spectrum, like, they don't even know what he's capable of.
Yeah.
I mean, no spoilers or anything, but he's powerful enough to, like, turn people to stone and stuff. Like, he
can't be a scary dude.
Yeah, he could be a scary person to, like, an unknowing person. So I think that, like, the casual person that's not involved with him and seeing it from, like, the outside in his world, he looks very scary. Like, he could be a... It's just the sense of an unknowing that I think a lot of the people were just like, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
You know, especially don't anchor him.
Yeah. That's how I felt too. Yeah. It was just the unknown.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 2 is, why did the dragon not choose, and I don't know how to pronounce her name, Kashia?
Oh, Kasha.
Did you, like, Google this or something?
No.
Okay.
I'm just assuming that's how you say it.
Okay. Okay, so why did he not choose Kasha? What evidence was there, and even later in the tower, that Neshka had the gift?
I don't know if it necessarily was a gift that he was after, or a person in general.
Which is kind of like the spoiler.
Yeah.
Of it.
Yeah, there's something that goes down farther that is a spoiler of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're obviously going to avoid that. But
how about we do it like this? So, spoiler, if you guys are planning on reading Uprooted, please stop the video and read Uprooted. If you guys have read Uprooted, or you guys are just curious, you know, you don't care about spoilers, continue the video so we can't actually be spoiling.
Animator magic, spoiler alert. I don't know if I'll actually do that.
I don't know. You got many talents. So you can spoil it now.
Okay. So, for those few brave souls who have stayed or who have already read the book, I mean, so at one point in the book, he says that she finds out, Agnieszka, or which you might just call her Neshka.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Neshka.
She finds out that she was taken away because the valley that she lives in is magical. Something there is...
It's like feeding them.
Yeah, it's something else that's there that's feeding them and the wood. So it's not like it's the wood that's providing this magic. No. There's something else like massively powerful providing magic there.
Yeah.
Which even the dragon has no idea. And even the wood has no idea. But the wood is using that to its advantage. And she finds out that the dragon takes women away to just basically transplant them from the wild so that their roots will dry up and so that they can so they can be detached from the valley. Because whatever magical source is there, it's keeping them there. And he sees that as a prison, so he's trying to free them per se, which later he does realize is a mistake, and that he's kind of like, that's the wrong way to go about it, because he promises Kasia that he would never do it again to anyone.
Yes.
And
so what was Neshka's gift then?
So I don't know if there was one in that aspect, because it sounds like he just grabs random girls and just
possibly, or but I do remember that Neshka, when she was talking about how she would venture into the woods, she would come back with weird flowers that have not bloomed there at all, or blueberries, or just different kinds of fruits are not in season, and she just comes back with them. Those were some of her gifts.
Yeah, like the wild bends to her kind of thing.
Yes, and nobody realized, obviously, that this is going on, that there is a magic portion happening to them.
Yeah. So, I think so. He never explicitly, indicates something that makes him feel like she has magical powers. He never explains his choice in her. So, that's a hard one to answer.
Okay.
Personally, I think it was random. But, she obviously thinks different.
I thought there was something else, because he wouldn't, go back to her and just be like, and then he does that flame in front of her, and he's just like, catch it or something, and she does, and he's like, yep, you're good.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the strength portion. Maybe all the girls had the magic, but they weren't as strong because you didn't see any signs. With Neshka, she just thought it was normal because she's always done it, but it wasn't. It was a higher, maybe, strength.
Yeah. I think that, he says he always teaches the people that he takes cantrips.
Yep.
But later on in the book, again, spoiler alert, you also find out that there's not very many wizards. There's not very many mages. There's not very many witches. These people with magical abilities are extremely rare to come across.
And old.
Yeah, if you have magic, you're destined. Spoiler alert.
Oh my god, the spoiler alert!
You might as well just say we're talking about
No, not every time.
Okay. But yeah, if you have the gift, you're destined to live for quite a while.
I'm trying to talk to my dog.
So, in that aspect itself, it shows that people can use magic, but only a few of them can actually hone it and wield it, So, yeah.
Just an FYI, it's just yes or no question, and you just took it a whole different aspect. Answer the question. Did you see any signs? No. Okay, moving on.
I love this book.
Oh my god.
I love this book. So.
Well, maybe you should read another book and then see, and then do a
you guys don't
book
want me
discussion.
Back.
Yes,
you
we
guys
do.
Don't.
Sure, we do.
Back.
Okay.
No.
This is gonna take 40 minutes to get through because he doesn't stop talking.
I get to edit all of it.
Question number 3. Okay, so the first spell that the dragon talk at Neshka, the Linrin Talum?
Well, yes, I couldn't even.
The L one, whatever. Yeah. What did it do to her cooking, and with what others did she practice in the beginning?
It made her cooking into beautiful banquets, basically.
Yeah, it just transformed them, or maybe did a picture of an overlay or something, because when she took the first meal that she prepared for Dragon, she couldn't find out where the dragon was. She was trying to find the library that he was in, so she got lost in the tower. And then by the time she found him, the food was all bad. And then he taught her the spell and everything just transformed. And it wasn't the same prepared food either. It was completely different.
Yeah.
So, and then, what others did she practice in the beginning? Like, what other spells did she learn?
Like, the couple that I can think of, like, off the top of my head is there was a cleaning spell, but there was also the spell where she could transform any of her clothes into sudden magic, beautiful gowns, like flowing wardrobes.
Yeah, but they were, like, more of an armor kind of thing. Because she had, I think she pointed out once that, you know, her... Well, maybe it was the gown that dragon provided for her that she's just like, oh, I felt like suffocated and heavy, and then when she did the spell, she felt lifted, you know, that it was to her needs.
I don't know if that was necessarily armor in the case, though, because have you seen some of, like, the old, like, gowns and things like that? They literally, like, tuck you in there, the, like, what is that called? Girdle? Corset, yes. The corset, and they just, you know.
Well, I wasn't saying the corset was an armor aspect. Moving on.
Yes.
Okay, so number 4. What did the prince assume Neshka was taken for? But what was her true purpose, and how did the dragon treat her as opposed to how the prince did? And why was dragon still hard on her?
So...
One, that is Dragon's personality.
Wish you loved Dragon.
I love Dragon because I can relate to him, because I think I call him idiot like at least 10 times a day. I'm just like, God, you're such an idiot. Why'd you do that? I'm just like, I'm Dragon.
But yes, I am the Neshka in our relationship.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So,
okay, so the prince...
the people...
What are they called?
Concubines?
Is it concubines?
I think so. Either way, everybody in the, like, that's another reason that I think they feared him. So going back to the first question, it adds a link to it.
Well, mainly to the plot of the story, mainly because Dragon takes girls every 10 years.
Yeah, and they think that he takes girls because... Yes.
And releases them. That's it.
Yeah. But when he releases them, they become, like, introduced into better societies, and they end up becoming, like
they do what they want, really.
Yeah, they do what they want, and they usually become successful, which is the weird part. They're like, how could somebody go live with him and be abused by him, but then become successful, like, right after they're released? So, but
they don't return home.
No, they don't return home.
That's the scary part for them. So,
which is explained later in the book.
So that's probably where, you know, the prince is seeing this, you know.
He in my eyes...
Stop!
To answer the question, I think that he was wanting Neshka because he was like, oh, I'll just rub it into Dragon's face that I had her too, you know?
The prince has a grudge against Dragon for whatever reason.
Prince is...
I don't like him. I didn't like him then, and I didn't like him anytime throughout the book, to be honest.
Oh yeah, when you told me you're like on chapter 20, and you're like, I don't like the prince, and I'm just thinking, it's only gonna get worse. Not worse.
It does get worse, and so why is the dragon still hard on her, and how did the dragon treat her?
The dragon treated her, well, you explained it best. And why does he do it? I don't know, honey. Why do you do it?
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're the dragon. Why do you do it?
I'm blunt. I guess I'm just gonna call it as it is. If you're pretty, I'm gonna say, hey, you're pretty. If you're acting like a fool, I'm gonna call you a fool.
No, you will not. If we were in public and now you were just, I was like, oh wow, that person is pretty. Okay, you did it in Greeley once, so I got to admit, there was a person.
Okay. No, so I like that with people that are close to me, not with complete strangers.
You did do it to a stranger once, though.
Once. In how long that we've known each other? How many times do you think I compliment a stranger? Never. That's why I'm an introvert. I don't talk to people, but she looks so freaking cute that I had to say something. Like, she put herself together very well. Okay. Number 5. How did corruption torment a person? And the wood consumed them with it, such as what was happening with Jersey. I'm going to pronounce that as that. better for a person long corrupted to die?
That's a really hard question.
I think yes. And we had to stop our dog from tearing up her toy. So she's with us. So if you see the cut, that's what happened. So to pick where we left off, was it better for a person long corrupted to die from the corruption?
And you said yes.
I said yes. I guess like I see it as like a, now don't hate me for this, but I see it as kind of like a cancer thing. If you catched it early, you could probably treat it and still be okay. But if you had it for so long, I think you lose yourself, as you know, a couple of characters lost themselves, for how long that they had the corruption. They weren't themselves anymore. So why keep them for yourself when they should be able to let go?
Yeah.
You agree? Or what do you think? Like,
I mean, I think that's a really hard question. I think that, like you say, it's every person should be given the opportunity to be saved. You know, like, you should try. But at the same time, yeah, there's a point where somebody's a little too far gone, which is, it's hard to admit to a degree. Like, I mean, it's easy to say, like, man, we should just try and save everyone, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, that person's suffering, and really, do you want to just like prolong their suffering for your own selfishness to try and save them? Because is that what you want, or is that what they want? You know. So yes, I have to agree. Like, I think that it's hard to say, because it would be nice to be able to save everybody.
Yeah.
And I think comparing it to cancer is not obviously the same, but it's as close as we can get to a fantasy world comparison.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. So, number 6. The dragon used one form of magic and followed it along a certain path, but Neshka thought about the rhythm and less about the words. How was it for her, like gleaning in the woods, picking her way through the thickets and the trees, different every time?
I'd like to compare that, and I think that this is a really good comparison. Anybody who is, like, a music composer, you'll probably find this very easy to follow along. If you know anything about music.
I don't, so you have to dumb it down for me.
Music can be simplified in certain terms. I'm sure you've heard it, like chords, strings, like that kind of thing. So each, because there's like all different kinds of sounds, and like basically music is just narrowed down to the sounds that are pleasing to us.
Right.
Like, that's all music is. It's just a mix of like, sounds that actually please us versus sounds that are horrifying sounding. So you can combine those specific sounds, and you actually, there's like an algorithm. It's basically an algorithm. You can say like, okay, this chord and this chord, you combine together, you can make this type of song, you know? And a lot of people put that together and say like, oh, that's music. That's music science, basically. And some people can. That's like Dragon's way of composing music, saying like, there's this material that I have to work with, and this is the path that I'll follow, and it'll come out with the product.
He goes it from the book.
Yeah, he goes from the book, saying like, this is what's available. This is what I know is like concrete. You know, he's very scientific in that way. Neshka is the opposite spectrum of compiling music. Some
Composer,
people, composing music. There's some people who compose music out there simply by just bashing on stuff, and then just, oh, that sounds good, you know? And then bang, song after working at it for a little while, you know? So I don't think there's a wrong way, because both produce beautiful music sets.
Yeah, it's just how they want it to follow it.
How they want to get there. So yeah.
That's a nice way to put it. Because I do think, like, as you're explaining, I'm just like, oh, she's like a cover artist. Like, who we watch is Music by Blanks.
Yes.
He'll take a cover and just, like, okay, I'm going to make it, like, a little bit more jazzy. Or he's going to turn down, like, a little punk, you know, or you turn down the pop off, you know, and put, like, reggae in it or something like that. He completely does it different, but he's following the notes still, but it's a different tune. You know. He's like, you're not paying attention to me, so I have to try to do something. Okay. Number 7. How did their different styles of magic make it difficult for her to follow him in the beginning, and how did her type complement his when creating the rose? So it's kind of like what he said in the beginning, how different styles of the magic were, just like how music is different when you're going by the book and you're doing the cover. But how did it complement that rose how they created it?
Okay, I have a brilliant comparison that
God.
I know you're going to agree with and I know you're going to love. And this is where we get to both be nerds. Your Lie in April. That is exactly like Your Lie in April. In the scene where...
I'm sorry, okay. My Lie in April? You're the one who told me about Your Lie in April. And he told me not to watch it because he spoiled the ending for me. I'm just like, I'm never going to watch it. Then I end up watching it and I'm just like, how dare you spoil it for me? You should have just kept it zipped. Okay, continue.
So, yeah, so like, okay, so the comparison. Oh my gosh, you threw me off.
Because I started with all dragon on him.
So Your Lie in April. There's that scene where he's playing the music and he's playing very mechanical. It's the way the song is meant to be played, exactly as it's meant to be played. And then here she comes in and she just takes off with it. And then he has no idea what the is going on, but he loves the sound.
Sorry for the swear word. It's a swear friendly channel. It's a family channel.
Sorry.
Just kidding. I don't think it really is. I just don't let kids watch my channel. It's just teens and adults.
Well, what the
Continue.
So, but do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes. Okay, number 8. What was the danger of the wood being in Kasha, when she was in the dragon's tower, other than just the obvious threat of corruption?
Personally, I'd say that Dragon knew that she was close to her. So when yeah, they're like sisters.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Because that's how she described them in the beginning, was they were like sisters.
Yeah. So I mean, if somebody is dangerous, and I mean the corruption is basically the equivalent of like the Black Plague. I mean, if you're around the person, you could catch it, and it's dangerous. Like, so if you're...
And Neshka did catch a little bit of it when she was rescuing Kasha.
So, I mean, it obviously being passionate about something or someone...
Which is her fault, but I'm just saying. She's a fool.
Can...
Heart over mind. Sorry.
I might include that, just so people get the reference.
Yeah, that's cool.
Soul Eater, Excalibur, here. So anyways, yeah, like, obviously when you're more passionate and, like, more concerned about somebody, it leads you to panic. It leads you to be desperate. And in desperation and in panic, you can be more clumsy, and he knew that.
So do you think that's the danger? Is
that he feels like she would just act stupid and get herself killed?
Well, I mean, he said it multiple times, like, you're stupid. So yeah.
I mean, and there's, to be fair, there was some times that she did act stupid.
Some? Just saying. I know, I'm bad. Number 9! The dragon had originally thought Neshka a healer and tried to initially train her as one, but what was she really? Is there a word for her type of magic? I still think she's a healer, but not like a healer. Like she's more of a support, you know. But she's not like a healer.
I don't think I'd call her a healer. I mean, obviously her powers are really good to heal, but at the same time, I think that she's just like a balanced mage caster.
Yeah.
Because like, and I think that it like best says to say that she's just really good with nature in general. Because she can
listen to it.
Yeah, like she can draw from the forces of nature, which nature can be very beautiful. It can be providing. It can heal. It can repair.
It can be damaging.
Yeah, it can be scary like lightning. It can be like earthquakes. It can be like waterfalls. I mean, nature is both beautiful and terrifying at the same time. And I think that does really good to explain what kind of magic she has.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Number 10. Was the problem with the queen that you couldn't heal absence? Has she merely been in the wood too long for redemption?
That's a really hard one.
That is a hard one.
Because up until, like, even through the book, she was an enigma to me. Like, I wanted to believe that she was better. And there was moments where I did think that she may have been. Like, I was started to get convinced.
I wasn't, to be honest. Like, when she was just, like,
But you're a very skeptical person. Like, you're the dragon. You're the dragon. The dragon would be like, no, that person can't be saved. Even though they're out. Even though they're purged. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Your brain goes,
if they're not
you're
acting
beautiful day. Danger. Danger. That's you. You're a skeptical person. And that's,
No.
I love that about
No.
you. But yes, no, you're right to be worried. Like,
Yeah.
again, the dragon was smart. So.
Yeah. Okay. 11. Wizards ordinarily took 7 years of study before asking to be admitted to the list. Why was Neshka asking for it only after a year? Why didn't other wizards believe her to be worthy or to have enough command of magic to join them initially? I think that's like part of Dragon's doing too, because he gave her a letter and they're just like, oh, you're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it solely has to do for the reason that Dragon is the most powerful mage. Period.
And he's
In the
smart,
realm.
and people don't like him for
some
whatever
obvious,
reason.
Some obvious reasons, some not so obvious
Yeah.
reasons.
Mhm.
Like, that one I can't answer because, yeah, it's like 7 years, but they don't really specifically say if, like, it's 7 years because people usually can't control their powers or because they're not
strong
developed well
enough. Yeah.
Like, that part's not said. Also, they say, like, if you become a court wizard, it's not really like, oh, well, now you have to start taking missions and things that are dangerous. It's just like, you'll probably get commissions every now and then. Okay, resuming. There was a part I had to cut out because I'm a big dumb. So, Dragon said... You adults can assume what I said. Dragon said...
He's blunt about it, basically.
Sod off, thou... dumbeth...
Stop swearing!
So, okay, he told them... Yeah, you get it.
Yes.
Anyways,
okay.
he just left. There was no obligation. Even the king was like, no, you gotta stay. And he was like, no. Like...
Yes, with his past, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't think that there's... That part I didn't understand. I think, though, that for the most part, they want it to be 7 years so that they know that the mage is powerful enough.
Yeah.
Because, like, the way
and knowledgeable and...
Yeah, the way she convinced them, again, no spoilers on this part, the way she convinced them that she was a mage was rather convincing.
Yes.
So.
And she got it, so...
Yeah.
12. Why did everyone at court desire to hear Neshka's version of the battle in the woods, and why did she recoil from that memory and refuse to speak of it? God, I cannot talk. I am sorry.
I think that it's...
So maybe, like, break it down. So, why the desire of Neshka's version of the battle?
Okay, because...
Dumb and Dumber?
No, drama.
Dumb and Dumber. The Prince and the Falcon.
And I think it personally is because they want the juicy story. You know, like you hear news and you're like, oh man, would you rather hear about this horrible thing that happened from like the news anchor that was talking about it, or would you rather hear about like, oh, here's footage of this person, we actually interviewed this person? You'd want to stay online and be like, oh, well, they interviewed them, I want to see you know, what they said. It's the same thing.
True.
You know, I think it's just celebrity influence.
So why recoil from the memory?
PTSD.
I mean, it is true. Like, she went through a lot of crap, you know.
It wasn't pretty.
It wasn't pretty.
You'd have to read the book. It's not pretty.
And then she, like, what did she do? She not reimagined it, but she, like... She brought the images to life, basically, to where everybody in the room felt like they were there. And then, and people started to freak out, and then she didn't talk about it after. So,
I think that's a great explanation. Like, cause like, okay, the only thing I could think of is the words that Dragon said. It's easier to make the illusion of a massive army rather than trying to find a massive army. It intimidates your foes, and then they're more likely to turn away.
Mm-hmm.
So she used that like mental thinking, and she created this illusion of what she had saw when she was there. And she's very good at illusion magic because even the dragon was convinced that this stuff was real, you know. So yeah, I think that's my answer.
That's that.
Yeah.
We're almost there. Okay, number 13. Why had Alicia gone to the trouble of talking to Neshka and befriending her just to mock her? She had like a very minor role.
She did. So, okay, so insert, because this one is actually going to need a little bit of like explanation. There's not really any spoilers involved. It's just a very, very brief part in the story. So she's a noble lady who pretends to be Neshka's friend for like a chapter.
And she was like,
maybe.
She's married young, and she's like what, like around Neshka's age. Like she's young, but older, I think, just like a tad bit older.
I mean, why do people bully? I think
because
that's
it's fun.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason that she did it was because she was bored and she thought it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much explanation there. It's bullying is a really cruel, horrible thing, and I think people just do it out of a whim.
Okay, number 14. Magic may extend the senses, amplify the voice, or conceal it in a nut to emerge later. But what could it not do, particularly in Neshka's voice or visage, when she desired and had to resort to a magic mirror for instead?
Magic mirror for?
Oh. For the...
Yeah. It can't, like, allow you to speak with somebody over a huge distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, number 15. Alosha told Neshka that she was too young to be as strong as you are. You haven't let go of people. When you've seen a century of your own go by, you'll have more sense. What sense was she lacking that Alosha had? So you're too young to be as strong as you are, but you haven't let go of people.
So what sense does Alosha have that Neshka doesn't?
Yeah. What does she not understand?
I think that if you're forced to live like 300 years and watch your grandchildren die, because this is again just insert of how
Alosha is a witch. She is a mage,
and they live an extremely long time. I said this before, but this is
I have to read it.
They live an extremely long time. Like when you live that long and you've seen this cycle of life happen so many times, and you've had enough time to basically indulge in every type of worldly pleasure possible, multiple times. I think it just comes to the point where you either get tired of it or you choose to become a little bit more tranquil and benevolent because of it, and I think she chose the latter option and saying like, this world is this way, but I still want to protect it. I still want to do this, but... Well,
sure, she does want to protect it, but what was the more sense? Neshka desires the same thing, but she acts, irrationally. She's choosing her emotions. Alosha kind of, like, cut that out. She's thinking with her head.
Again, when you've lived that long and you've been through as much shit as she has... Sorry. When you've been through that much stuff,
yes, you are gonna gain it.
Yeah, she automatically would probably have a little bit more analytical thinking because she would stop and say, okay, I've been through this before. Whereas Neshka didn't have the graciousness to say, oh, okay, so my friends were taken by the wood before. What did I do last time? You know, she's still young. She's inexperienced, and I think that's the sense that she's talking about.
16. The power in the wood wasn't some blind hating beast. It can think and plan and work towards its own ends. It can see into hearts of men, all the better to poison them. How did the poison spread so efficiently, especially in the hearts of humans? How did this make it so much more dangerous to battle against?
I think that...
Come here. Come here. Come here.
Basically, the translation of the wood that I got from reading the book is personified hatred in nature form. Because, like, magic can give things animation. It can take things away.
Mm-hmm.
And in the sense of, again, no spoilers, what the wood is, like, magic can also be used to inject hatred into something. You know,
yeah,
like, and it can,
or you fear something.
Yeah, it can warp it. It can spread it. It can, you know, and obviously if you were to use that kind of method of just, like, having this corruption into, like, a plant form, then it could spread. And obviously it's effective in, like, human people because we're you know, we're more susceptible to that emotion, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, we're people that do feel hatred and rage and things like that.
Yeah. It's harder to overcome them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. 17. Why wasn't the summoning meant to be cast alone? How was it related to the statement? Truth didn't mean anything without someone to share it with. You could shout the truth into the air forever and spend your life doing it if someone didn't come and listen.
See, that's where I found the romance in it. So I'm a mushy person, and I cried at the Spider-Man movie. Laugh at me.
Which Spider-Man one?
The first one.
With Toby?
And the second one.
Andrew?
They're in the Homecoming.
That's the third one. That is Tom Holland. I'm talking about Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. Which Spider-Man are you talking about?
Of course I'm not talking about the second Spider-Man. Nobody knows about the second Spider-Man. Tom Holland was a good Spider-Man, but I have to say that
Tom Holland is the new Spider-Man.
Tom Holland is a good Spider-Man.
So you're saying he's not the good one?
No.
So
The first one.
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire is the, like, best freaking Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
Anyway, this is not about Spider-Man. This is about Uprooted. Okay. So no.
You brought up Spider-Man, so I'm like, which one did you cry at? So I remember that because I was with him.
I'm mushy.
He's very mushy.
So
I'm
not. Okay, so this is where I find the romance in it. It's a lot like loving someone. You know, like, you can feel love in the same way that you do if you receive love in return. Like, I can love you all that I want, but if you didn't love me in return, it's not the same feeling. You know, like, it's not romance. It's not
a flow.
Yeah, it's not this beautiful thing that it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
In order to truly feel like love, you have to feel love in return. You know?
And you have to feel it together.
Yeah. So I think that's the best way that I can explain the summoning.
That's good.
Yeah.
18. How did the wood make people into weapons against one another until all of them were dead and it could creep over their bodies? So it's kind of like what we were discussing in the question before the last one. How, you know, fear crept in and made us do really wacky things, and then it just got worse from there.
Yeah, I think that's the great explanation of just destruction, like a destructive nature of like those kind of dark emotions, like rage and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a firm believer that no emotion is a bad emotion when given at right amounts. You know, like, you're like, for example, it's okay to be angry. You know, just don't lash out at other people.
Yes, you don't lash out or you take action while you're angry.
Yeah, it's also okay to feel sad. You know, like, we're taught these emotions are bad when they're really not. We just accept them because they're a part of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the wood is a great personification of the destructive nature of them, because if you're, like, for example, revenge, you know, like, if you're so angry at somebody that you want revenge and you make it your life's worth to want to get revenge on that person, you get your revenge and then your life becomes meaningless and then you just become fodder for whatever drove you. You know? And I think that's a great way that the wood is explained. Like, it just makes you go crazy, and then after you've done your purpose, then you just feel, you know.
Yeah. Okay, 19. Why did Sarkin, the dragon, really take girls from the valley to train in magic? Which I think we kind of discussed, but if you want to elaborate on that, you can. Was it out of duty and obedience to the king, or did he have a greater motive?
I don't think that the king was involved at all.
He wasn't, no, because the king asked for him back, and Dragon said no, he wasn't leaving this valley.
And I think if it was for the king, then at least the people of the court would know it, or the king would know it.
Yeah, the princess would know it, so they wouldn't be such...
Yeah, they wouldn't be suspicious of him, like, why do you keep taking peasant girls, you know?
Yeah, they would know what is going on. Our dog wants to play.
We can get on camera how grumpy she can get. Give me it.
So, yeah, and then as we explained earlier, he's taking the girls so he can dry up that magic root. Last one. What objects and characters in the story bear resemblance to the fairy tale of Beauty and the Beast, and how is it different? Dragon being feared, like the Beast. Being locked somewhere, like Belle. What else? That's I'm only gotten so far. The curse, which is on her instead of the Beast. Mm-hmm. So that would be like similar but opposite too, because it's happening to the girls.
There's some like seclusion in a tower thing going on, you know.
Oh yeah.
But I don't.
And he loves reading. I mean, like he's always has a book, and Belle is the book person. It's just opposite there.
Yeah, I think that there's obviously some comparisons to Beauty and the Beast, but there's a lot of it that's like reversed. And honestly, if you asked me to compare parts of Beauty and the Beast, I probably couldn't. I mean, I think the ones that you listed are probably the only things that I could really touch on.
You can't think of anything else?
I can't.
What about like them like coming after Dragon at the end? Because that's like, oh, we must slay the beast.
Yeah.
That's another one.
That's true, kind of. Yeah, because they just feared him, in a sense.
Yeah, they feared him. They thought he was the bad person because they put him and Neshka, like, you murdered the king, you murdered the queen. You know, you're a traitor. Blah, 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 you know, and pitchforks, basically. Yeah. You know, and I'm not breaking down the door at first. I'm going off the Beauty and the Beast Disney movie, not the actual tale of Beauty and the Beast, because that's like completely opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just what I'm just going off after.
Random insert. The one with Emma Watson is amazing.
Yeah.
Watch it if you haven't.
It's been out for like years.
So if you haven't, watch it.
You need to speak up.
If you haven't, watch it. It'll quench you.
No, don't put Sokka in here. Okay, so that is it on the questions.
How did you what? You grabbed it and now you're mocking me with it. That's great.
I got the toy. If you want, actually I am gonna be reading Housekeeper and the Professor, which is a very, very short book, so it's okay. Even you can finish the book, honey. But it also has reading questions at the end. So if you would like to do that one with me, that would be cool. I'm batting my eyes. It has math and romance in it.
Math and romance?
Yes.
Why would it have math?
I don't know. I haven't read it. But it does have math. The professor teaches math. If you guys don't know what Housekeeper and the Professor is, which he should know because he's edited my videos, the housekeeper has to watch over the professor because he can only remember 80 minutes. And then...
Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. So it's a romance story. I would like you to. It would be a good video together.
Do you want me back?
Do you guys want him back? Do you guys
want
him back? He's more of a Sokka. Nobody liked Sokka and Avatar, okay?
He was the backbone.
Are you saying you're the backbone in this relationship? Sokka versus Dragon. Who will win next time?
I just want to catch this on camera and probably one last blooper reel.
What?
I can't ride my bike.
Oh god, no.
With no handlebars.
We're gonna end this video here.
No handlebars.
We're gonna end this video here. I even don't know how to end this video with.
Like and subscribe. We love you.
Thank you for joining us. See ya.
Don't eat me. I already knew that there was going to be like a lot of this that I was going to have to edit.
Hopefully not.
We should have like an entire reel.
Okay, sure. Yeah, we can have a blooper reel. Okay.
Blooper reel.
Oh my god.
So, are you going to do the intro? Cause
yes, I am doing the intro.
That
Yes.
bang boom pow thing is definitely not.
You want to do the bang boom pow right now?
No, I don't want to do that bang boom pow.
Okay.
Blooper reel.
Oh my god.
Okay, so you're the host. You know, you're supposed to introduce the guest person. Man, I feel like I'm on like Jimmy
This is
Fallon.
Michael.
Jimmy Fallon is so much nicer than me.
Okay.
Blooper reel.
Oh my god.
If I have the effort to edit this part, I'm just gonna do like that meme where it's just like, all around me are familiar.
All around me are familiar faces.
Okay.
Blooper reel.
Oh my god.
Obviously, because Dragon just said, you guys, I'm sorry.